Hello, everyone, and welcome to Meticulous Talks on March 4th. I am, as always, Chris Cords.
I'm Hithroc.
As always, it's a pleasure to be here with you, Hithroc.
Yeah?
Um, in our case, we're here to talk about the tournament, the OnlineCon tournament. I forget, was it 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, right?
Yes.
Because it was.
It was the weekend, yes.
Yeah, okay. Um, and well, you played in it, so you would have all the knowledge of that. I was traveling that day, I'm afraid, and so was not able to participate. But I hear it was well, it had an interesting result, if nothing else.
Yeah? I didn't even plan to play in it. I kind of just appeared because people were just. I don't know who. It was GP who was like, oh, you should come play. And I was like, I don't have a deck. And he's, what kind of excuse is that? And he gave me a deck.
It sounds like the kind of thing he would say. Animal says there's a echo in my voice. You hear that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, there is on stream, though. You're
And
probably sourcing your voice twice or something.
I can try messing about with my audio settings here quickly. Let me try this. Okay. You can try that. Is that any better? I don't know if you're listening to the stream or not.
No, that did not change.
Did not change. Interesting. I did remove an audio source. Maybe it doesn't just shuffle back and forth between the two scenes. Chance to refresh there. Does that help at all?
Oh, yeah, that's bad.
Okay, yeah. So just needed to refresh it on OBS's side.
Transition the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. Well, anyway, yes. That tournament happened. I have looked at all the decks already because I did the TIA math on it already. And I could say for sure that I was very much pleasantly surprised at the creativity on display. This was the first tournament held after the big ban change. Well, after the big ban change became official.
Yeah.
And there were a number of interesting decks to go through. And we have, it was 8 participants, which is a good number. We found 8 is usually a good amount to go through in one stream.
Yeah.
So, shall we do it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as per usual, we will go from bottom to top. And that will start us off with Animoy, who is here with us right now. Thank you for joining us, Animoy. He was playing Krogar pink, teensy weensy bit of white. Same deck, I think, that he played in the most recent Coco event, where he actually did pretty well with it. He was 2-1. Whole lot of sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
Whole lot of discard synergy. That's not Reanimator. That's kind of the interesting thing. Like, there's a whole lot of stuff in here that I like associate with Reanimator decks almost. But no, the stuff that goes to the discard pile on this deck is generally not coming out of it.
But usually does something useful in the discard pile.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like double diamond. Or big hoof.
Mm-hmm. Like actually, this kind of deck really made me think that it would be nice to have. I guess it's only in adventure now. Those orange cards that would allow you to, like Smart Cookie, right? Spend your discard pile.
Zap
Uh,
apples.
yes, yeah, Zap Apples as well. Like were those the only two cards we ever got that kind of worked to that effect, or
Uh I think so. There might be some others, but those are the two that like
that come to mind?
the good
Yeah,
ones. Yeah,
yeah,
there is in Defenders a card that's similar to Big Hoof, Big Mac, and Applejack, who put counters. You can banish them from the discard pile
that's right. Yes.
to get some counters. That could be useful in this deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, it's we've seen this now a number of times. Orange, like obviously, Big Hoof is a standby, well, not standby, stand. What's the word I'm looking for? Essential
Mm-hmm.
in Orange Farm, and isn't particularly surprising to see it show up more often.
Yeah,
Ah, yes. Anyway points out that Haven Bay would be better with Rock with Shovel, which makes sense. Two of them are pretty commonly used together. And
and with the Big Mac Applejack card I mentioned, because
mm-hmm.
he could put counter on Hammond Bay and draw a card.
Yeah, is there
Any?
uh, any way to get a counter onto Haven Bay other than just using her Traveler in this deck?
I don't think so. This deck doesn't really have power counter stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it is just moving. But you have Pirate Ship.
Oh yeah. Pirate Ship Haven Bay is classic.
Also, Enamel points out that I suggested to include Berry Punch in this deck. Because, like, I mean, you're playing orange pink,
Mm-hmm.
and you have discard synergy, so you kind of want more draw as well. Berry Punch seems like a natural fit.
Yep.
I've
So
actually played this deck in a casual game, me and Enamoy. He was playing Purple Farm in Harmony, and I was playing this deck, and I actually liked this deck.
hmm,
The Mod Pie and Mudbriar are surprisingly good once you have them going. It's not too hard to draw an extra card to get a rock token. And if you would had Berry Punch, it'll be even easier.
mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah, I do like this deck.
Indeed, yeah. Yeah. Orange is having a good run of things lately. Well, with Farm as well. I guess. Well, yeah. The Pancakes Farm deck that we're gonna get to. We have another Grogar main at the top of this. Well, shared top of this tournament.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's actually turning into a pretty good year, or shaping up to maybe be a pretty good year for various orange applications.
well, we'll see. This
Yeah,
is the first con after bans.
it is, and we have BabsCon's going to be an adventure event, so I don't know if there's going to be a core tournament there or not. But yeah, we'll see, I suppose. Moving on.
Yeah,
Moving on. In at number 7, Instagram brings a this is essentially Fluttershy Blue, but with the newest iteration, Fluttershy Hidden Strength. Um, I think I did like compare this to what Stunning Wonder blue used to look like. And the main change is just more dilemmas, which, makes sense. Now you need to run lots of dilemmas, or else you're not really doing your main properly.
Yeah.
But otherwise, this is almost the same list. Rocket Scooter replaced with Rocket Cavalry, of course. Final Question replaced with Rules Technicality. It's almost just swapping in the band cards for their reformed versions, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's blue yellow.
Pretty much, yeah. I suppose. Well, yeah, we'll get to see just how much, how powerful this idea still remains in the new version, or if any tweaks will be required to keep it relevant.
Yeah.
His one win this event was it was against one of the fifth, sixth. Actually, wait a second. All right, it send me the full set. See, Scrim 1 in round 1, playing against Prism Light. Okay, so that was against the next deck that we talked about. All right, sorry, I don't know. Do you have anything else you wanted to say?
I mean, blue yellow. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's hard to comment on it after.
it is largely still the same deck we've been talking about for the last year, half year. But yeah, we'll just have to keep our eyes on this to see how well things still go. So then, yes, speaking of number 6, Prism Light, that I mentioned before, Yuna, orange. And the thing that stood out to me that's kind of interesting about this deck is there is a little bit of tension in the fact that this main prefers to run 3 power friends to the extent possible, and he's done a very good job putting in lots of 3 power friends. But then you also have Treading Water, which really prefers 2 or less printed power.
Yeah, there's what, a couple of cards that are 2 or less. Treading Water itself, Fluttershy, Brian, and Bunny. Right, that's it.
Yes. And then I guess, is there any tokens sometimes? Corralling Critters tokens, but that's it. Oh, I guess Princess Luna talented tokens as well. Which, admittedly, good number of yellow events as well. That's something that I noticed now that Scary Story is in from Prize Wheel. You can actually put together a fairly okay yellow event suite if you want to do talented yellow.
Yeah.
Like this yellow-orange, you would have thought, at least before Prize Wheel, most of your events were probably going to be orange. But this deck gets away with most yellow, a lot of yellow events. Carries it well.
I do wonder. I mean, there is this tension with main and Trading Warrior, but maybe it's like you get your bunny imps. I think that might be enough,
Just keeping your bunyips at the problem is all that you
Yeah.
care about. That's I mean that does save
218.
well,
Oh no, 180. It's
180, yeah. Sorry, okay, I'm just noticing Pancake in the chat here. Applejack and Fluttershy.
I'm trying to parse the sentence.
Yeah, well,
I'm failing.
the 15 Unity Fluttershy is another point to make. I don't like. Seems like you'd be at a hard point getting to 15 Unity Yellow general. Like most of your powers orange. At 3/6, 15's hard. So I think Fluttershy is in here mostly for her when you play ability. Yeah. Which again is all about resurrecting Bunyip in this deck.
Yeah, that's well. You can also get Luna out,
Oh yeah, Luna is a critter. Good point.
which puts more creatures into play.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Maybe that's how you get Unity 15. You get Luna out. That's already 5 plus your free 8, and then you play a couple of events. Yeah, it's really hard.
It is. It's hard. Yeah. 15's a big number. Without a lot of friends to help.
Yeah, I guess it is just for the when you play ability. Then it's like yellow tender taps.
In a way, yeah.
Only on creators, but you do have some good creators. You have Venona, Luna, Bunyip.
I forgot about the orange critters. That's right. Venona is actually not bad either. Fair point.
You know what's interesting is that Venona and Trending Water are like either like also kind of stacked against each other, I guess, because Trending Water just keeps everything at problems, and Venona is like, I don't know, it's except home limit. Okay, I forgot what she does. Oops.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind. Never mind.
So yeah, it's an interesting deck. Also including the rookie mistake and late return fee in the problems. I have this. I had this written down as an aggro deck. I think, right? Yeah, it most definitely.
Yeah. Ooh, Garble is here for Bunyip, right?
Yeah, that sure makes sense. I mean, that's your self-right in effect.
Maybe this entire deck is like
When you think about
Bunyip.
it, it is kind of. I mean, yeah, we even have the adoption options to search for Bunyip. So, huh? It is just kind of all around that card. Yeah.
Because like everything here, well, a lot of things here work with Bunyip super well. So maybe that was the point.
You can search for it. You can unfrighten it. You can get it back out of your discard pile. You can protect it with Brian. Huh.
Hmm. Can make picture frames out of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was insight earned. Yeah. Okay.
All right, next deck.
Next deck. Yeah. Oh, okay. We're getting into some of the really fun ones.
Oh, I played against this one.
You did. That I wanted to know a little bit of your insight, actually.
If only I remembered what happened 2 weeks ago.
So this is
Had
living. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
had very eventful last 2 weeks.
That's right. That's right. So this is Living Silver, playing spell for that blue. And this reminds me a little bit of Animoy's deck actually, because there's a whole heck of a lot of discarding going on here. What with like almost every training card in the game, in here.
Yeah.
And you've got a good amount of discard synergy between Daybreaker getting you back AT, and as well a number of cards, whether it be Fire Friendship or Golden Parachute, that appreciate being in the discard pile. And I almost missed Ocellus as well. Actually, wait, it's both Ocellus and Gallus actually that want you to discard cards as well. So
Yep.
it's a lot altogether here.
And you have Breaking the Barrier,
That is
which now
correct.
discards cards.
That's right. I didn't even think about doing it that way, but that's a good point. Using Breaking the Barrier as just a way to force yourself to discard cards. Clever. Very clever.
Angel Wings is a really good entry in this deck.
Right. Yep. Have. Wait a second. Do you? Oh, we start with infiltrating. Of course you do. Yeah, that
Yes.
makes sense.
You also have Twilight,
Mm-hmm.
or like you play events, which is probably Tranquility, but you have some others. You can pay 2 for her. Pretty nice.
Yep.
So one thing about this deck that is I found interesting, it has a lot of free offs. A lot of free offs. And it is spell for that deck.
It's a fair point. I mean, it. So let's see. We have 19 unique cards. This is 50, so some sideboarding might happen. It is sort of on the what would I say? Would you consider that on the aggressive end? It is you're skirting the line.
Very aggressive. Like almost all of the cards in this deck have free offs. There's like a few that are not.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're not 3 ofs,
Hmm.
but I'm seeing at least
Out of
out of 19.
yes. Like I think you more than I somebody did like a spreadsheet, right?
That was me. Yeah.
Oh, that was you.
It might be around here somewhere. I mean,
But I think like this I would say half of the time at least you would get a duplicate.
here we go. Twilight main opening hands. Okay. So see that I have this right. So there are 4 2s and 1 1 in this, right?
Yeah.
2s and 1 1. This is going to be way down at the bottom.
Although I don't know how you would account for a sideboard, but
Well, yeah. Or
it
wait.
will give us a general idea anyway. There's not much you can change with 5 cards anyway.
That's right. How did I open? This is organized like in the worst possible way. 4 2s and 1 1. There we go. So and this is the percent chance. Right. This is the percent chance of having a good. Yeah. So on the assumption that in your sideboard, I mean, yeah, we're just ignoring sideboards here. It says that yes, when you're going first, you have a slightly less than 50% chance of drawing a convenient hand. Now, admittedly, yes, yeah, I did going second, drawing 7 cards. That's no longer how it works. So the probability is the same going first or second. Counting the mulligan, it was you would have about a 74% chance of drawing a compliant hand.
Well, that's I guess not too bad. But risky. But anyway, in my game, he flipped his main just fine. So
Mhm.
I don't remember if he mulliganed. I think he did, but he did not have duplicates in his hand.
Yeah. Another thing I just want to point out, and Emily brought this up in chat, he was specifically talking about Rainbow Dash and Mullet. Also worth pointing out, all of these trainings are when enters play. So Doctor Who's has a whole host of possible targets that are really good. Obviously, Rainbow Dash and
Although
Mullet.
Quarreling, a training card is kind of, I mean, a little bit useful, but
Yeah, it's not the best card. The best card being Dash and Mullet there pretty clearly. That is an enters play effect. But well, I mean, if you've got a lot of cards down that want discards, Portaling a training effect is one way to get there.
Yeah. It's an interesting deck.
It's cool. It's creative. Like I was saying to myself,
I did not expect less from Living Silver. Every time.
Yep.
He comes up with some really unique idea. You never know what he's gonna play. Really, I love his decks every time.
There's something in the water on the West Coast. It's him and I don't know if he actually lives on the West Coast anymore. But anyway, him and like Grandpa's we're gonna get to next also brought a really cool, interesting deck to this event. And it just seems like that West Coast group always find a new, interesting stuff. You know, I was about to transition. Pancake brings it up. Follow my lead would be an amazing inclusion in this deck, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That
Especially like you move things a lot as well. It's so easy to get things back.
Here we are in blue.
Yeah,
Bunch of
you have mullets, you have daring do's, you
yeah,
have other things.
whole bunch of Swift cards. Yeah, follow my lead.
Other oh yeah, daybreakers.
Daybreaker's also Swift. Yeah.
Amazing.
So yeah, that's probably pretty good tech to put in that follow my lead. Okay, I was about to transition us over to the other spell for that deck, brought for this event. This one from Grandpa's spell for that yellow, also
Purple.
seeking to, or
Oh yeah, purple.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, also seeking to take advantage of Doctor Who's, but for a different end game. In this case, it's Zipperwill, the other one, the one that's still legal.
For now.
I suppose. Did you play against this deck?
Nope.
Were other people complaining about it?
Nope.
Okay.
Not that I've heard.
Well, yeah. There are a number of different ways to make Zipperwill leave play, ways that aren't throwing her into the discard pile. Doctor Who's is one. Basically any of your portal effects, which like Luna's Future is one. Whammy, technically, also counts.
Yeah.
Is that it? I think that might be it. Got a few top deck effects, but those only work on
School
opposing
shutdown.
friends. School Shutdown also works, I suppose, yes.
Luna's Futures, although I think GP really didn't like that card. He made a comment how well, maybe I'm misremembering, but yeah. Let's see what other ways are there, if any. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
see. So here's a card that might go in here. Let me check the wording on that card though.
oh,
no.
Sanctuary
Okay.
Scuffle can do it
Yeah,
sometimes. Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I thought the entry Fluttershy that bounces a friend.
Yeah.
Lets you bounce anything. No, just opposing. Very sad.
Yeah. I was looking at Spider Surprise and Ocellus as well, but no, only opposing friends.
Probably for a reason.
Probably.
Historically there have been not a lot of cards that bounce things back into your hand.
So aside from all that, there's also just a lot of kind of solid yellow purple fun to be had. Twilight Sparkle and Fluttershy made their mark in Adventure. Also wonderful, just in general for being Meticulous too.
Mm-hmm.
Between that, sometimes, well, always, I suppose, just being a free critter token if you want. It will not be hard to activate your Pegasus Royal Guard to get it in as a third. Ugh. Well, yeah, to have 3 cards enter play. I forgot how that card worked for a second. Yeah, to get that going. We know that's a card that can win games on its own sometimes. And yeah, just kind of good utility and purple between the, well, Singleton Flurry Heart, but still a wonderful card in general, and a good event suite that we know it has. Same yellow stuff that we saw before with Bunyip. Good anti-troublemaker tech between Raptor Razor and we're always there. And just kind of a nice, solid, rounded out deck with a neat little trick of that AT denial you can do sometimes.
Yeah. Dr. Hoops is a good card.
There's a reason that they were sim that is. So I mean, both phrases probably both very eager to print a portal effect and also very wary of doing it.
Reluctant.
In giving him the 5 rec. They know it's something that everyone wants to play with, grandpas included, obviously, but also can be dangerous.
A little bit.
You're up next, Hithroc.
Oh. Well, it's not my deck. So.
Well, it oh, okay. so actually, this is a good point because this deck, it is. Oopsies, clicked on the wrong one. Yes, Princess Celestia. Here we go. It is obviously based on the one that Grandpa's ran in Invitationals. I was going to ask you, if there were some interesting differences in between this deck and the one that Grandpa's ran in Invitationals. I wonder if you might tell us, Hithroc, why you made the modifications you did. Well, it was just GP's deck anyway. Then fair enough.
Well, what were the modifications? And maybe I could tell you.
So Double Take wasn't in the original.
I actually did not like. Starting from my third game, I sideboarded that.
Okay.
Of the time, I did not like that card. It was never useful. Maybe it's just my luck.
Right. The original included a couple copies of Sonic Glimmer Future Headmare, which have been replaced. So, right, the prize wheel Trixie is new, which I suppose is kind of obvious.
Oh well, yeah, the Trixie is so good.
And you're not just saying that, right?
No, yes, she's in this deck. So this deck has a problem. Is that you cannot remove counters fast enough with Trixie. They just keep piling. You play so many events, so you just never run out of counters on her. You have them all the time. So it is basically a paper fly at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You just exhaust her for 18. Yeah, it's main phase, doesn't have Meticulous prepared, but it is Trixie, so it has power.
Yeah, in general, I guess just looking at the modifications, it would seem like the original build had a little bit more control, a little bit more answers. This build is leaning much more into the combo. Having increased the magic instructor from 1 to 2, then got rid of To the Moon and Fit of Peak.
To be fair, having 2 magic instructors is huge because you can copy Tranquility twice.
Yeah,
and with just 2 unicorns and 2 starlights, and you have no shortage of unicorns in this deck. No, thanks to Celestia. So.
mm-hmm.
It's not like you can just Celestia obviously enables this deck. Just search for stuff you need. You need Starlight, you need to copy Tranquility, no problem, just find it, and so on. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, but I think this deck has enough control. Like, you have your Spargy Surprises, you have Worn Out, you have Betrayed. That's more or less enough.
You have enough
Um,
ways of dealing with resources.
yeah,
And, well, based on what I saw of the less weaponized version of it, you go fast enough when things line up that you don't worry that much about opposing aggro decks.
this deck is kind of crazy in how much ET it gains.
Yeah, so broadly, I guess that's the distinction. This is a version that kind of understands what it's about. Like, I'm pretty sure Magic Instructor was included in the first deck as just kind of this sure seems quite synergistic, but it's been not good in anything else, so let's give it a try. And now, oh yeah, let's put 2 in there. It's actually amazing.
Yeah, Saddle Rows are really good. Because you can copy them with Stygian, and obviously you can search for Stygian.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything works so well, and the reason it works so well is because of the main. Main enables all of it. You can just find the answers you need. I only wish it searched for events as well. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Mm-hmm. Now your one defeat was against
Tom.
Tom's deck. Yes.
Yeah, it was my first match. It was actually a really close game. I did like a couple of mistakes, and I think we were like one turn off. So like he was either winning or I was winning next turn, and he won. Like, I had the trick in my hand, but that was not enough.
Hmm.
So
All right.
it was a really close match.
And we'll get to Tom last. This is just the order they were published in. You guys were all totally deadlocked at 3.
It was a rock paper scissors. It was so fun.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I lost to Tom. Tom lost to Pancake, and Pancake lost to me.
yeah. So, I mentioned that I did do the Kia numbers. And so
Okay,
there is that as a unofficial tiebreaker, which deck got more TIA points for the tournament.
there is what?
Well, that is a way to break the tie if you want.
Ah, yeah, true.
Yep. For what it's worth, going based on that, and for those unfamiliar, TIA is basically strength of schedule, but it looks beyond that event to every game those decks have ever played. According to that order, the ranking would go Pancake, then Tom, then you.
Oh, so pretty much the same, except Tom and Pancake swapped.
Yes.
Okay, makes sense.
Anyway, yes. Speaking of, let us keep going to Pancake's deck.
Yeah. One last thing about this deck. I describe it as the most purple deck there is or ever was. There's no deck that's more purple than this.
I find it hard to refute this claim. But yeah. Moving on. Pancake playing Thought farm, but a very different kind of farm, or at least
Yeah, when I saw that main, I was like, wait, are you not playing farm? What is this? And
Skystar.
yeah, and he replied, I play other decks sometimes, which of course was a lie.
It depends on how you interpret that expression. But yes, I mean this is farm, as always. It is pink-orange. Oh, there you go. Yes. He does play other decks in Limited, which makes sense, yes.
Fair enough.
Kind of hard to draft a farm deck in Limited, though I'm sure he would if he could. But yeah, so this is a style that Pancake has experimented with a bit, actually. He played something very similar in Coco. Almost the same deck, but with some small modifications. It is something that I'm calling Chaos Farm in my own sort of way. And that essentially is going to apply to any deck that includes Berry Punch, Spike and Gabby, and Power Play altogether. And it's pretty much those three cards that make Chaos Farm, quote unquote, into a thing.
Yeah.
Essentially acting to magnify the advantage that you get from already having a deck full of huge, big flip cards from being a farm deck in general, and kind of ease off the disadvantage you get from having some number of friends. And in this case, a main that's not a powerhouse necessarily to farming in general.
Yeah. And Spike and Gabby works really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
That card is really good.
The main modification that he's made from actually, I think it's it's not the only modification. No, there's a slight change. So I guess two changes that he's made from the Coco to this was removing. He had a couple copies of Smile, Smile, Smile in the Coco version, which are now out, and replaced those Garners used to be Pinkie Pie, Reckless Endangerment. But Garner makes so much sense. I totally understand the switchover. Being hasty, being that you're going to have some number of Griffins in play anyway, and being power efficient for its hastiness as well.
And you
and
put the thing on top of your deck.
Putting stuff on top of your deck in a deck that cares about its chaos effect. Like it kind of checks all the boxes.
Yeah, from my understanding, Pancake doesn't even. He doesn't really have Garner because there's Spike and Gabby. That's kind of a little bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Like the card is just good by itself.
Other than that, yeah, he changed a couple of numbers in his troublemakers, and I think he mentioned that. Yeah, he's in the latest iterations completely removed the Chrysalis up to three Legion of Dooms, which makes sense. Chrysalis is just kind of a hard troublemaker to use in general, especially in a deck that's got a significant number of friends.
Yep.
And having been on the receiving end of it myself, I can say that sudden fruition is a wonderful trick to have. Obviously, if it's a villain underneath, admittedly, it's only one of those in this deck, but it's useful, and the card draws a nice bonus as well.
Sudden fruition is really annoying. That was so. That card caught me off guard in our game. Like, I think I was about to win by doing a DFO, and he had the troublemaker face down. So that's why I figured, like, oh, I have to DFO now, so I score a bunch of points. And then he sudden fruition, so I can't do anything. It was very sad.
Yep,
it's a really good trick.
Admittedly, catches you off guard. Certainly me, because you forgot that was a thing that Pink had. Nobody else had ever run that card ever.
Yeah. If I play against this deck one more time, like I would know that's a thing it can do.
People expect it. People expect it now. But yeah.
But even then, it's still a really good trick because there's nothing your opponent could do. Like it's just it's the same as the trouble. Like it's the troublemaker control thing.
Right.
Where
It's the same thing as portaling rarity in Twilight.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I've noticed Pancake tends to spend a lot of time before a tournament griping about how Farm is an awful archetype and can't win anything, and then goes on to still do very well anyway. Um, Farm finds a way.
Yeah, he was so preoccupied whether or not he could.
Which takes us, lastly, to at well, the last member of the triplicate tie, uh, with Grogar Blue mentioned. Seemingly good meta for orange. So this is an evolution. I don't know if that's how Tom actually came up with the idea for the deck, but it's an evolution of the thing that Grandpa's ran in the Invitational, also with his Grogar Blue. Working to broadly similar idea of having a lot of synergy between all your various stuff moving, various stuff that's for your traveler counters and such, various exhaust effects for your donut joes. This version is more aggressive than that version. I think broadly because, and he's not here to say for himself, but Grandpa's built that deck knowing that Fluttershy was what he's going to be going against. He had to include a lot of sort of answers and slower effects. This is a more aggressive version. Yeah. One thing that I noticed right away, I don't think we talked about this when we did our review for Fleetfoot, but a great place for that card is just behind another Traveler card.
Yeah.
You can just guaranteed always move those two together. And this deck should be able to generate the kind of old-fashioned blue conga line effects a lot, because you've got a lot of movement sort of triggered on movement effects that would pretty easily allow you to move a line of like 2 or 3 cards around together.
Did you ever think that Tempest is just better Apple Bloom?
I mean,
Like Apple Bloom,
no,
remarkable.
yeah, I know which Apple Bloom you're talking about, and it's close. I don't know if it's necessarily better.
It's also two. Apple Bloom was 2 cost, right?
No, she was 1 cost.
Oh well, that changes a lot.
1 cost, 1 requirement. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where she competes. Yes, on the fact that this is put a thing in your discard pile to pay 1 less, and it's the top card of your deck, not a card in your hand. That's much better. Yes, and immediate
Well,
speed.
well, with this card, the top of your deck is kind of your hand,
I mean that's fair. Yes.
but it gives you free power as well,
Mm-hmm.
and it is immediate. I guess it only works in friends.
That is true. It's not. Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily better per se, but it's working to the same effect at immediate speed. So, and that's I think not the way most people parsed the card on first reading it.
Yeah,
So,
not me for sure.
but yeah, obviously at home in Rogar, given that we're going to be starting. Actually, there's a number of options, but I think you start Buckball generally.
Yes.
And yeah, like this seems to me like I have it here in my notes. Uh, a deck that takes a lot of kind of the traditional strength of blue orange, right? what used to be Blue Orange's strength was just the fact that its cards were really, really good in isolation. And then this deck takes a lot of like, oh, we're exhausting cards. Well, let's just get a special extra bonus from that. We're moving cards. Let's get an extra bonus of that too. You just get like incidental extra bonuses on all the other stuff that Blue Orange was going to be doing anyway with its really good cards.
Yeah. Deck good.
Deck good. Yeah. It's about time. Blue Orange like has been that archetype that, as I said, people look at it, it's like, man, these are some really good cards. It probably should be a deck about them, and which is not to say that it hasn't happened. Like First Mate Mullet, especially, has shown up in a number of decks. But yeah, I'm about ready to see just some straight up Blue Orange aggro on top of the table.
Yeah. I always liked Blue Orange.
Is there anyone out there who doesn't? I feel like it's hard to dislike this two colors together because it's so.
It's classic.
It's a classic and it plays pretty face up, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of like tricks, events, like purple stuff in here. It's largely the game plan is pretty face up and you can see it coming. It's just super efficient.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So yeah, that brings us to the end of the decks. As I said, I thought it was a really creative field. I kept count of which ones were actually new, which ones were just kind of changes on things that we'd seen before. Yeah, by my count, half the field were like brand new concepts, and the other half were modified of stuff that came before.
It was a fun tournament.
I imagine it would have been, yeah. 4 rounds worth.
I'm proud of the tie. I'm so glad it was a freeway tie. Made
Yeah,
Arakat very happy.
it is. So, like, yeah, there were no round ties, right?
No,
Yeah, which
it's like on the round 3 when it was me versus Pancake. I told Aaron, "Oh, wouldn't it be funny if I won right now?" And he hissed at me. So
yeah, as we know, every tournament has to have a tie in it somewhere. And there were no game ties, so that means there must be a tie in the final standings.
yeah,
Alrighty, yeah, that's everything I kind of wanted to say about this matter. For those of you out there who participate in the tournament, hope that you also had a wonderful time. This is the last core event we're going to have for a little bit of time, actually. The next sort of co-event is Adventure. And the BabsCon main event is going to be Adventure. I don't know if there might be a satellite event that's core. I don't think that's been decided yet. So this might be the last snapshot of Adventure or core rather for the next little while. But there's a lot of wonderful ideas on display.
mm-hmm.
Was there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up?
No.
Alrighty. For our part, first of all, thank you very much, everybody, for coming out and watching and chatting. Always appreciative. We are going to have another stream in 2 weeks. and we are going to have to figure out what that stream is going to be about. I think we're finally out of easy content.
Yeah, once again.
So stay tuned for that. There will be an announcement coming, as there usually is. Otherwise, find this stream and all of our previous content on YouTube. It's been so long since I said that, I forgot to go find the link. Maybe I'll. Nope. Put me in. Thought I had it pinned in one of these channels. Yeah, there it is. Aha! There for all of our previous content, the invitational for this year as well as last year, and that fancy stream we did last week as well, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I have been Cursed Chords.
I have been Hithroc.
And we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Bye.